This is Mirella Kale. You're a location gal, and you're on my podcast, Fire Chat with Mirella. Welcome. I am so excited again to have this wonderful guest back for a special episode. It's a Thanksgiving week today, so we're having a special episode, and Michael Houghton is with me from Academy Mortgage again. So Michael, first of all, I want to say how grateful I am to have you in my life as a friend, as a partner, and just, it's the week to be grateful, right? I mean, we have to think that way because not a lot of things are not normal. They're not what we're used to, right? Including probably this week, the Thanksgiving holiday. But we have to keep positive, and we have a lot of good things happening and good news as well. So first, I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving week and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Yeah,
and,
you as well.
Thank you so much. So so tell me, what's new, Michael?
I'm still working on my COVID body, so that seems to be increasing, not leaving the house much or getting out, but
aren't we all?
just in time to eat some more food for Thanksgiving and even get bigger, right?
You gotta watch it.
Your point is well taken. It is definitely time to take a breath and be thankful for all that we have, and it's time to reflect on not really having a lot of problems that aren't anything smaller than stuff that we create in our own head with all the craziness and uncertainty and everything going on in the world. So, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I saw your husband's movie this last week. Pretty incredible. I definitely recommend that if you haven't talked that on your webcast or your podcast. So that was awesome. But there's a lot of big stuff going on, obviously, in the news. Everybody's crazy with all the election and transition and all of that stuff going. But there's some really big news in mortgages as it relates to some of those transitions and the new administration coming in. I try and not talk religion or politics to any of my clients or my partners like yourself.
I'm the same way.
There's so many different choices that people have. So one of the things I try and do is keep up on the current events and really talk to my clients and partners and let them know kind of what's going on and how it may affect their business or how it may affect their mortgage. And one of the big appointments that I thought was pretty great for our industry and for the client is I think it's official. They made Janet Yellen the Secretary of Treasury.
Yes,
so
I've heard that as well.
What I think that means is that we'll have a pretty consistent low interest rate market here for the clients moving forward, hopefully for the next, I hope forever, but definitely in the next year or two as this kind of uncertainty and the whole shelter in place and the vaccines come in. So that's great news for your clients that are out looking. They can be assured that their borrowing capacity is going to be great and expanded, and rates are going to stay low. So great news, in my opinion. You're the pro on getting the houses and what's going on with how expensive it is. I can't control that or know what the heck's going on with that.
Well, that's not changing anytime soon because our inventory is so low and it's hitting the lowest low like in history, like nationwide even. So I just looked at the NAR statistics. So we have to encourage people, but we have Prop 19 coming through right now, which will kind of open up more possibilities for our clients. So, hopefully more people will think of putting their houses on the market.
Yeah, no, and I think one of the things that this whole pandemic has done is really expose the ability for people to remotely work or move to locations that they can work where they don't have to commute every day. So I'm seeing a lot of the secondary markets and second home markets, Tahoe, Capitola. We live here in Silicon Valley, but everything kind of stretched out, 50, 60, 100 miles out, similar to like what happened, if you're familiar, in the 90s when the tech boom took place and then everybody lived on the outskirts. Because even then it was so expensive to live here.
I'm very familiar. I was working as a high-tech professional, actually. I was a software administrator in San Francisco.
So they say it's almost the same kind of madness that's going on, which is, great for clients. It gives them kind of an open canvas on what they think might be the new home. And if we're going to be in this mode of staying at home all the time, you definitely want to make sure it's nice or it's somewhere you want to be or work in, because you can kind of go a little stir crazy sitting in your box all day long, talking on the phone or doing these Zoom calls. I've watched my kids go a little batty on their calls, and hopefully they'll be back to school soon. But yeah, crazy times, but definitely great times to be thankful for all that we have. I mean,
absolutely.
being able to do these are a blessing, and being able to do it with you is always a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, you're always such a wealth of information you bring.
Well, I kind of was an economics geek in college, and every morning I try and wake up, and since I don't sleep very much with all this stuff going on, I try and get on the news in the morning and the opening of markets, so I can kind of have a conversation or at least comment on what I think might be going on. I think they broke our crystal balls about 3 or 4 years ago to kind of give you an idea of what's going on, but it's changing every day. And I kind of take the attitude that makes it kind of fun and exciting. Right.
Me too. I try to stick to that sentiment, because it's not gonna change, back, right, to the exact thing that we were used to. So we might as well get used to pivoting. And like you mentioned, people are looking at different things right now, because just realizing that you need more space, maybe, right, to make everyone comfortable. But also, what's interesting
as you're growing, right?
So we talked about that. We're gonna be changing that, both of us, right? So that's right. And you said you were gonna start on Thursday. I remember that.
Yeah. Well, and one other big piece of news that just got launched yesterday that should help your buyers as well is they just announced increases of almost 8%, 7.5% in what's called the county loan limits. So right now, Fannie Freddie and the government FHA, so loans with some as little as no money down or 3.5% down, are now going to be going up. So the county high balance loan limit in the Bay Area is going from 765 up to 848. So what that means for your buyers is you can now get into a larger loan with less money down, the 3.5%, some down payment assistance if you want to get to the 100% financing. So great news all the way around. And the goal is, I think the government is trying to keep this market moving, because it's such an integral part of not only, our well-being in the industry, but it's such an integral fabric piece of the American kind of psyche, right?
Absolutely.
Who doesn't want to own their own home, thinking about buying a home? Obviously, we all have to shelter in our homes right now. So what a perfect time to have low rates and increased loan amounts.
Definitely. And it's also a great opportunity to get into your first home, actually, because of these low rates, and, even if you're going to start with a condo, because right now the condo market is a little bit softer, right?
Okay.
Quite a bit, in fact.
Right.
But it's still a good feasible way to do it, because we have a lot of condos that are right in the heart of action, if you so to speak, like of the action here in Silicon Valley, close to all the big employers, where right now a lot of them decided to keep people working remotely for now. But things are going to change, and the projections are actually, I was listening to an update from NAR last week, and the projections are that the cities, or the more dense populated areas, are going to come back, including commercial real estate, to an extent, right? Because once the vaccine's out, which again, it's in the works, so we're hoping that will help also, that those commercial properties will return a little bit more, and actually people will never leave the cities, and they will always want that vibrant, life of the city, right? So, if you look into the future, so to speak, right, a few years from now, you're not gonna buy something and be in it for a year. You're projecting to be there for a few years. So it's a good opportunity if you think of it that way,
Yeah, great opportunity. And I've seen some amazing deals on condos, and
Mhm.
I'm even seeing the construction numbers on condos and multi-unit really be one of the hottest markets out there because, um, you know, you could get 2 or 3 buddies, nice young couple, 2 engineers that work together, 2 people in the same line of work. It makes for a very low mortgage payment, almost, better than what you can do for rents around here because the rents don't seem to be going down any. They seem to be going up with the home values as well. So if you can leverage some of that burden with a colleague or a partner or a friend, it's a great opportunity.
That's a great
Real
idea.
good point. Real good point.
Exactly. And the thing is, a lot of them, in fact, I just previewed some here in the East Bay, new townhomes, and
Yeah.
they even have 2-story ones, which are not very common for these types of, buildings, but they have 3 or 2-level ones. And the great news is that they give you a different lifestyle because they are located in the heart of what's going on. So you can actually walk to the area where you have restaurants and shops. And again, as we move through this pandemic, and we have the vaccines, I'm sure this will become a little more of a free zone, so to speak. So you'll be able to take advantage of all the amenities that you have with all these wonderful, we have so many in San Jose, beautiful complexes with
Really nice.
all kinds of amenities that are available to people to take advantage of. Like, Communications Hill has its own it's like an own little township, and there are some gorgeous condos up there with incredible views and just a great community, by the way. I mean, I've sold over there, and I have my clients have friends who actually are looking to buy there as well, and they just love this community. It's very hip, very cool, and you walk out, you say hello, people say hello back to you. So I mean, that's a nice thing to have, right?
Right.
So
I see it popping up everywhere. There, right by where I live too. There's a whole new development called the North 40, and it's going to have shopping centers and gathering places on the bottom floor, and then units, 2, 3, 4 stories up. So
right, that's right in Los Gatos.
Well, everything. It's we don't seem to be slowing down on growth. So
right, and that whole lifestyle is popular too, right? Yeah. Even Santana Row, I think, was like the first one that really in this area that kind of, reminds me a lot of Europe. As you know, I'm a European.
Well, I'd love to. Tell me when we can go and work from Europe.
We can. Oh, well, let me tell you, that's on my list, right? That condo in Spain, man.
Hey, take me with you. If you pull that off, I'll be with you.
My grandkids are in Las Vegas, so
wow.
I will always be. I love the Bay Area, so I'm not going anytime soon yet.
No, lucky you. I'm unfortunately I'm gonna have to work till I'm about 100. So.
Well, I'm gonna be working. I didn't say I would stop working.
Yeah, the lucky part with my clients, when you get a 30-year mortgage with me, I'll probably be there when you make your final 30th year payment.
Well, here's the thing. My plan is to keep working because that's what keeps you alive, actually. And if you love what you're doing, real estate and mortgage. I mean, like I say, I have this new slogan for my podcast, and it's all about life until it's about real estate, because it's really, what we're doing with our lives, right? What do we want? What do we need? What is our goal? And then you start forming your actual goals as to, do you want to buy a second home? Do you want to buy a retirement home? Do you want to expand because you want your family close to you? I mean, there are all those different options that we can,
you're exactly right. It's such an integral part of the human psyche, especially around here. And now with, the shelter in place and these crazy rules and things people are telling you to do, you definitely want to be in a nice place where they can't tell you what to do. You can do whatever you want.
That's the biggest point, I think, in ownership. If you want to rent out a room, or you want to repaint the room, or you want to have a big party and maybe not disturb the neighbors too much, but have a great party, right? You can do it.
Uh,
Oh, I
what I
can.
try and tell the clients is don't wait on a rate, because usually an eighth or a quarter%, even on $100,000, $1 million, is usually only a couple $100 over a 30-year amortization.
Right.
So that usually seems to be the one question that most clients and partners want to ask, because it's pretty straightforward. What's my rate? Well, what I try and do is say, hey, it doesn't matter who you are, what your circumstance is, what the property is. It's all different. There's no two transactions, two people, two desires. Some people love condos, some people love townhomes, some people love land. I mean, it just doesn't matter. So if you can get them in the mindset that it's the lowest it's ever been in the history of the world, no matter what your situation